Yes, guys, yes, people, welcome back to Eli Talks Football and welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing alright today, and I hope you guys are excited as I am because the Premier League returns this week. Yes, guys, the Premier League is back after 3 months, 2.5 months of West. The Premier League is officially back this week, and it starts this Friday where Liverpool face Bournemouth, or the Premier League champions face Bournemouth at Anfield this Friday at 8 p.m. kickoff. So the new season starts here and it starts this week. So I hope you guys are excited and I hope you guys are ready for the new season. I am as well, because there's going to be a lot of expectations for all the teams, you know. Also from different countries in England, and also where their team is expected to finish. So yeah, so today's video is going to be all about my predictions for the Premier League 2025 to 2026. Oh, sorry. So in this video, I'm going to be doing the Premier League 2025 to 2026 predictions table. So the first one I'm going to be doing is the champions, then and then the top four, then the top six, and then after that I'm going to be doing the relegation teams who I think is going to be relegated this season, and then the rest will work our way through. So that's going to be the plan for today's video. So if you guys are excited the Premier League is back, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to Light Talks Football down below, make sure you hit the bell notification so that you never ever miss any of my content, and make sure you share this video to all your friends and your family. And then you guys can also give your Premier League table predictions in the comments below, and I'll react to them as soon as I can. So I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a very good video, and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. So without wasting any more time, let's start. So as you can see on the screen, this is all the teams from the that in the Premier League this season. As you can see, they added Sunderland, they added Leeds United, and they added Burnley because those are the teams who have been promoted from the Championship last season. So you can see here they're showing you champions, UCL, which is second to fourth, Europa League, which is fifth and sixth place, the Conference League is seventh. Mid table is like eighth to 12th. Lower mid is from 13th to 16th. Avoid relegation is in 17th, and then teams relegated from 18th to 20th. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna be dragging and dropping these teams in order so that you guys were able to understand what I'm trying to do. So, like I said before, I'm gonna start off with the champions. So for me, in first place, there's obviously Manchester City, Liverpool, and you can throw in Arsenal there. But the team who I think is going to be the Premier League champions is Liverpool, because last season Andre Slot came in as a manager. We all thought that, I mean, he won the league with Fanyard, but going from them to one of the biggest clubs in England, it's going to be a huge, huge task for them. But and no one expected Liverpool to win the league, not even me. But you know what? Slot deserves credit because the only player that he signed is Chiesa. But the fact that, he got the best of Ryan Gravenberch, Mo Salah, almost breaking Thierry Henry's record, getting the best out of these players, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Ryan Gravenberch, even Alex McAllister, and also Godi Gakpo. That's a really good management for his slot. So obviously that's the only trophy that he's won. And the Champions League, he got knocked out against PSG, lost the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle, and lost to bottom of the team of the Championship last season, Plymouth. So, but yeah, listen, Liverpool right now, like he's doing really good business. So as I'm recording this video right now, Liverpool still want Isak because Isak is not going to be playing for Newcastle anymore. He said in his own words they don't want to play for Newcastle, so He's waiting for the Liverpool bid. So the first bid got rejected. I believe it was 120 million pounds or euros. So Liverpool need to put another bid in. And also, they're also looking to get Mark Guru because Konsa has left to go to Bayer Leverkusen, and so they do need another centre back because Kanate sometimes is injury prone, so he needs someone that can back him. So if they get Mark Guri as well, that would be good. Flowing versus well. For 120 million, that's the British record in Premier League history. Ekatike as well. These are really good players, and also they also want to win the league because of Diogo Jota's death. So yeah, still RIP to him and to Andre Silva as well. So I'm sure that Liverpool want to win the league for Diogo Jota, and let's hope that and I think they might do as well. So listen, if Slot can do it once, I believe he can do it again. Because remember in 2024, he only lost one game, and that was at home against Forest. That's the only game that he's lost in 2024. So Slots, what he's done for Liverpool last season was really good. The question is, can he do it again? I think so, because I think Florian Wirtz, Mark Gui potentially, Isak potentially, Ekatike as well, who was Frimpong and Kirkes. These are very, very good signings. And Liverpool have spent more than any other club this season in the Tommy transfer window. So Liverpool fans expect to win the league, and I feel like they might do it again. So yeah, in first place, I'm gonna go for Liverpool to be the Premier League champions once again for this season. Now, now in second place, I know many of you guys are going to be very surprised, but I'm gonna put Man City in second place, and I'll tell you guys why. Because Man City, last season, yes, they won a Community Shield and it's a curse, but Rodri got an ACL and he missed the rest of the season. And Man City's defense did look a bit shaky, and Kevin De Bruyne, is out. But Wayne Cherky is a fantastic signing for them. You know, even the Wolves defender anti Wanyari or something like that. Very good signing. I forgot who Man City signed as well. They also brought back James Trafford from Burnley, who broke the record in the championship last season. So there you go. And also, as we're recording this video right now, Man City are looking to sign Rodrigo from Real Madrid. If they do that, yeah, boy, I tell you, yeah, this title race, that gap between Liverpool and City will be very close. Because last season it was big, but I believe it was going to be close. And the reason why I think Man City is going to finish second is because Pep Guardiola, has finished third, but has never finished below that. And I believe, let me just take a look at his managerial record, for just a moment. I'm just wanna have a quick look to see, because if I can remember correctly, um sorry, I'm just trying to have a look. um do give me a second, guys. I'm pretty sure um I I'm just trying to figure out yeah, it looks like it won't do it. um I'm just trying to give you guys information about his yeah, so yeah, look at this, guys. So the only time he finished third was in the 2016 to 17 season. That's the only time he finished third. Next season, he won them the league. So this is why I think for me that Man City, I feel like they might win the league again, but the reason why I put Liverpool instead of City is because Man City's defense still looks a bit shaky. Like when they got knocked out against Ali Howe, they scored 3 goals and they conceded 4. Like Man City, never conceded more than 3 goals before. So it all depends. And also Man City didn't win the Community Shield this time. So I think for me that will help them. So this is why I think for me that Man City will finish second. Like if they can sort out a defense, if they can also sign Rodrigo and all that stuff, then and also Marmoush as well, signed from January looks like a great signing. If they can sort out the defense, and Pep Guardiola can change the tactics, then maybe Man City might win the league. But I think for me they'll finish second because I think Liverpool, you know, have better players than them. Can Liverpool? I don't think that can Liverpool handle the pressure is going to be very interesting to see. So for me, I think Man City are going to finish second this time. In third place, I'm going to go for Arsenal. Now I know many Arsenal fans may not like this, but the reason why I think for me you're going to finish third is because don't get me wrong, Zubimendi, great signing. Victor Yokeres, great signing as well. Kepa as well. I mean, when it comes to penalty shootouts, he can do well, but I feel like David Way is still better than him. But for me, the likes of Madueke, the likes of who else? Christian. I mean, Christian Nolda is a good signing as well. But and these are really good players. But for me, it's not the players that's the issue. It's Mikel Arteta because this guy simply cannot get it over the line. Now, don't get me wrong. I heard a stat that says Arsenal have finished second 3 times in a row. The fourth season, they won the league. So maybe that weighs the question. Can Arsenal do the same thing? We'll have to wait and see. But for me, yeah, Arsenal Wenger is still a better manager than Mikel Arteta. He still is. Because whereas if Wenger would have spent so much money like Mikel Arteta and didn't win the league, everyone would be would just be bantering him, and go for his head top. So I think for me, that question needs to be asked to Mikel Arteta. Can he get it over the line? Because in the semi-final, they've only scored 1 goal ever since the FA Cup final win. Only 1 goal, and that was against PSG. So, and also, the only way I see Arsenal winning the league is that if they can, if they can win games while the likes of Liverpool and Man City drop points, because last season, whenever Liverpool drop points, Arsenal do the same. Arsenal just simply cannot, just put pressure on Liverpool last season. So for me, if Arsenal want to win the league, not only do they have to win games, but they have to make sure that they contribute on Liverpool losing, I mean, dropping points, and also Man City as well. That's why I think for me that Arsenal can win the league. But it's because of Mikel Arteta. That's why I think Arsenal finish third. If they bring in a new manager that's better than Mikel Arteta, then yes, maybe I feel like Arsenal will definitely win the league. But I just think for me that Liverpool under Arne Slot last season, I don't expect them to win the league that they did, and they also had really good players as well. Man City as well. Like I said, Pep Guardiola finished third in 2016 to 17, but next season after that they've won the league, so we'll see what happens. So I think Arsenal will also be in the title race, but I just don't see them winning the league at the moment. So in third place, I'm gonna go for Arsenal. In fourth place, I'm gonna put my team Chelsea because I know many guys were thinking, oh, when you spend 1.66 billion or close to 2 billion, you expect to be in the title race. Don't get me wrong, my expectation for this season has changed because last season my expectation was to get top four and to win the conference league, and that's what we did. So my expectation, so they've achieved my expectation, and of course we're the world champions, so hold that. But yeah, my expectation this season is to at least challenge for the title. Just try to close the gap with the likes of Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and also in different competitions. So try and win a trophy, whether it's the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup or maybe even the Champions League. Just try and go and win those trophies. So my expectation has changed. So listen, maybe Chelsea could prove me wrong because I didn't think, yeah, that we will win the Club World Cup, let alone beat PSG, but we did. So maybe Chelsea might prove me wrong. Maybe they might finish above Arsenal, to be in third place, or maybe above City to be in second. So I don't see that happening. And also, the reason why I think for me that Chelsea finished fourth and I mean not closing the gap with Liverpool City is because the consistency needs to improve. Like Chelsea, and we've seen this before on the Thomas Tuchel, on the Frank Lampard, so many other managers as well. There's a couple of things. Number one, the consistency. Whenever like Chelsea can do well, let's say from like October to the beginning of December, that's when we do well. But when it comes to like the Christmas, the Christmas week, before or after Christmas, our form drops. Our form drops, and we've seen it before. So the question is, can Chelsea be consistent? After Christmas, like, can we continue on this winning form so that we can close the gap on also Liverpool and City? That's going to be the big question. So I doubt about it because I've seen this before. But if Chelsea can be consistent, and hopefully beat Liverpool like we did last season, hopefully get some winners against Man City and Arsenal as well this season, then I think for me that Chelsea will be in the title race. But it all depends on consistency, and it all depends on if we can beat teams and just make sure we don't drop off, during the festive season. So we're gonna have to wait and see. So I'm gonna back my team. I feel like the top four that finished last season will be the top four finish this season. So yeah, so Chelsea in fourth place. So yeah, so far Liverpool first, Man City second, Arsenal third, and Chelsea fourth. Now let's move on into the Europa League, you know, um, table. So in fifth place, um, I'm gonna go for. I might go for. I mean, this one is very tough because you have Newcastle, you have Aston Villa, you have you know, Forest as well, Man United, Tottenham maybe. But in fifth place, I'm gonna go for Aston Villa because Unai Emery is still a really good manager. You know, last season they were this close to finishing in the top five, but because they've lost to Man United, which by the way that was a robbery, but because they lost to Man United, they're in the Europa League. And I think for me is that Morgan Watch is staying, Oli Watkins is staying, and who else? And I think that's it. Um they still got some really good players. So it all depends on the FFP and PSR because Aston Villa have to sell players to avoid points deduction. So it looks like what I'm hearing from Aston Villa at the moment in time, it looks like they're okay. So you know, and also Una Emery is really good. You know, in the Europa League as well. Won meant three times for Sevilla, won it for Villarreal when they beat Man United on penalties. So so I feel like if Aston Villa, don't finish in the top four, but end up winning the Europa League, that would be a very good season for them. It really would. So I'm gonna go for Aston Villa to finish in fifth place in the Europa League spot, but maybe, just maybe, they might win the Europa League. Who knows? Because Unai Emery is really good in the Europa League. He really is. So I feel like Villa will finish fifth on this one. Now in sixth place, I'm gonna shock all of you. I'm gonna put Man United, and I'll tell you why. Man United is not playing in Europe, and it's funny, but they have one game a week, so that would allow Man United, to rest players, and to also, the players that are injured, the likes of Mason Mount, the Ligt, Luke Shaw, and all that stuff, to get fit. You know what I mean? And I think one game a week will work for Man United because if you look at Arsenal in 2021-22 season, they had one game a week and they finished fifth. Tottenham had one game a week as well under Ange Postecoglou's first season, and they finished fifth. Chelsea as well, we had one game a week under Pochettino, and we finished sixth. Now, the reason why we were in the Conference League last season is because Man United won the FA Cup. If Man City would have won that competition, then Chelsea would have been the Europa League, and maybe we could perhaps win it. But you know what I mean. So when teams have one game a week, they tend to do well. So, and also not only that, Man United, the signing of who was there? I forgot this guy's name. Benjamin Sesko, Matheus Cunha, who was Brian Bremu, and potentially Carlos Baleba, and also Donnarumma because he's going to be leaving PSG this season. If Man United can sign all of these players, then Man United could look really good. But the question is, can Ruben Amorim change his tactics and get the best out of them? Gonna have to wait and see. But I feel like Man United, I don't think they'll finish in the top four because I still think Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, and potentially Aston Villa have better squads than them. But don't sleep on Man United. Do not sleep on them because in pre-season, they looked really good. Of course, they had a few draws, a few wins, and all that stuff. But I think for me that these signings will really help my United. So it just all depends. Like this is Ruben Amorim's, best chance to improve the squad because my United squad should be nowhere near finishing in 15th. It should be nowhere near. So Ruben Amorim has got to make this right. Otherwise, he could be sacked, and he could potentially be the first manager to get sacked if he doesn't improve the squad. And also, Man United, they need to get back to back wins because that's what they didn't do last season. They need to go back to back wins in order for them to not finishing in 15th. So I think Man United will do well this season. So in sixth place, I'm gonna go for Manchester United. Now in seventh place in the Conference League spot, I mean, it could be Tottenham, it could be Forest, it could be Newcastle. But I think for me, I think that Forest is going to finish in yeah, I think Forest is going to finish in seventh. Now, funnily enough, yeah, Nottingham Forest was supposed to be actually no, Forest finished in seventh, I believe. No, the fifth place was Newcastle. The sixth place was yeah. Now, funnily enough, yeah, Nottingham Forest are in the conference, was supposed to be in the Conference League, but because of Crystal Palace, breaking the rules, or I don't know what happened to them, Forest are in the Europa League, and Crystal Palace are in the Conference League. So the question is, Nuno Espirito Santo has good experience in the Europa League because Wolves win the Europa League under Nuno Espirito Santo. So in fact, I want to see um the position they finished in that season. I'm just gonna have a quick look. Give me a second. Let's see where they finished. Yeah, so Wolves finished seventh, when they played in the Europa League. So I think for me that Nuno Espirito Santo has a good record in the Europa League, but can he handle the pressure when it comes to Thursday, Sunday games? We're gonna have to wait and see. But I think Forest, don't get me wrong, maybe they might challenge, to get back into the Champions League, with but but their preseason hasn't been particularly that great. They only scored one goal, and also they let go of Anthony Langer, who joined Newcastle. So I think for me that Forest, I don't think they'll be relegated like some teams predict them to, but I just don't think they'll challenge for the top five again. So yeah, so I think Forest is going to finish in seventh in the Conference League spot. So there you go. So yeah, those are my top seven so far in terms of Europe. So champions will be Liverpool, Man City second, Arsenal third, Chelsea fourth. That's the teams will be in the in the Champions League. In the Europa League, in fifth place, I'm gonna go for Aston Villa. Or who knows? They might finish. They might be in the Champions League again. Depends on the English teams in the Champions League this season. Man United in six, and Conference League spot seventh is Nottingham Forest. So that's the top seven so far. Now I'm gonna be predicting the teams who are going to be relegated this season. So I'm gonna start off with the 18th place, and I'm gonna go for Leeds United. Now I know it may shock, and now sorry to say this, Leeds United fans, but the reason why I think you guys will be relegated is because, don't get me wrong, you have a really good team. But when it comes to Daniel Farker, he has a really, really poor record in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, Norwich City and Leeds United aren't the same. But Daniel Farker don't have a good record in the Premier League. Every time he does one in Championship, he doesn't do one in Premier League. So I think for me that Daniel Farker, for me, just doesn't have a good record. Like, don't get me wrong, if he can make Leeds United play the same style of play that he did in the Championship, then I think Leeds United will stay up and maybe someone else would be relegated. But I just don't think Daniel Farker um is gonna break the record for staying up, because he just really has a poor record. So listen, maybe Leeds United may stay up and might finish 17th, but I think for me that Leeds United are a really good team, and of course the rivalry between Chelsea and Man United is hatred, but I just don't think Leeds United are going to stay up. I see them finishing 18th place. So Leeds fans, but it's the truth. Daniel Fargo don't have a good record, but if he can change that, then that would be great. So yeah, in 18th place, I'm gonna go for Leeds United. In 19th place, I'm gonna go for Burnley. Don't get me wrong, Amanda Bolshaw, who else? That sorry, Leslie Kuchuku. These are really good signings, but listen, Burnley, same thing. If they would have had Sean Dice, being their manager, then they might stay up, because I remember, I think it was 3 years ago, where when Burnley were really close to be staying up. I don't know how many couple of points there were to be in 17th, but when they sacked Sean Dice, I was just thinking, yeah, they're relegated, because Sean Dice knows how to stay up. He does. He does know how to stay up. So for me, I'm not quite. I don't know how Burnley manager is going to be doing well for this season, but listen, it's going to be the same thing. They're always going to be relegated, because whenever they do win a championship, they're always relegated. So yeah, in 19th place, I'm going to go for Burnley. And then in 20th place, I'm gonna go for Sunderland, because don't get me wrong, I'm so glad Sunderland are back in the Premier League, because we get to see the 20-year derby between them and Newcastle. That's a big rivalry in England. And don't get me wrong, the likes of Granit Xhaka is a very good signing, but Sunderland, was really close um to be in the Premier League last season, but failed. But this season they are in the Premier League, but I just feel like, and also, who else? Petrovic is also a really good signing. It really is. So don't get me wrong, that's a really good signing as well. But I just, I just feel like the teams that have been promoted is going to be relegated again. Because we've seen this last season, the season before that. So it's going to be the same old, same old. So when it comes to relegation, I don't think there's going to be anything much new. So listen, maybe one of them. Maybe Leeds United could finish 17th. Maybe someone else could be relegated. But I just feel like it's going to be the same thing as we see in every single season. So yeah, so the teams for me are going to be who are going to be relegated. It's Leeds United in 18th, Burnley in 19th, and Sunderland in 20th. So that is my relegated team. So far, I've gone for Liverpool first, City second, Arsenal third, Chelsea fourth, Villa in fifth, Man United in sixth, and Forest in seventh. So those are the teams that are going to be playing in, that are going to be finishing European places this season. Then the teams who are relegated is the promotion team. So Leeds United in 18th, Burnley in 19th, and Sunderland in 20th. So now let's continue because there's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. So I've done 10 so far. Now I need to do another 10. So it's time for me to predict from 8th to 17th. So I'm going to start with 17th. Now, this one is very interesting because for me, it's between Brentford and West Ham because Brentford they've lost um, Brian and Bremo. They've lost Weiss. I heard that Wissa might be leaving Brentford as well, but I might be wrong. They've lost Ivan Tony, and they've also even lost Thomas Frank as well. They even lost him as well. So for me, I feel like the avoid relegation for me is going to be either West Ham or Brentford because West Ham, don't get me wrong, Graham Potter's a really good manager, um, but they got rid of Kudus. They did make some signings as well, but Graham Potter, you know, I feel like he's a good manager, but I just don't think he's gonna make West Ham, finishing above mid-table this season. So in 17th place, I'm gonna go for Brentford because, like I said, losing Thomas Frank, losing Bremo, losing Ivan Tony as well, losing so many of their key managers and players is not really that great. Really isn't that great. So we'll see what happens. And in terms of Wissa, I'm not quite sure the situation on him. I heard some reports that he might leave, but it is what it is. But it looks like he might be staying because I remember that Tottenham was in for Risa and then Man United was in for Bremu. And Brentford said they're not going to allow two of their best players to leave. So only one of them is going to leave. So that's why Risa is definitely going to be staying. But listen, I don't know who their um, attack wingers is going to be. I don't know who. In fact, let me just see who Brentford's manager is. I'm just gonna have a quick look. Um, yeah, who is it? Oh, Keith Andrews. So yeah, Keith Andrews is the manager for Brentford, and I'm just gonna have a look on his managerial career. Oh, I know. Oh no! Look, and look at this. He has never ever managed a club before. He has never. This is the first time that Keith Andrews is gonna be from a player to a manager. So that's, I think, for me that Brentford, you know, get rid of Thomas Frank. Bringing in Keith Andrews, getting rid of Bremo as well. Ivan Tony from last season. Yeah, I think Brentford is really going to struggle this season. So I'm going to predict Brentford to finish in 17th because I don't know what Keith Andrews' style of play is. I never heard of anything before. No disrespect, but so I think Brentford is going to really struggle this season. So in 17th place, I'm going to go for Brentford for this one. Now, I'm going to move on into 8th place. So in 8th position, I'm going to go for, in fact, yeah, Thomas Frank is a. In fact, yeah, actually, no, let me not change it. In 8th place, I'm gonna go for Tottenham because I think because I don't think like, in fact, yeah, because the reason why I predict Tottenham to finish in 8th and not finish in Europe is because Thomas Frank has never, ever experienced a Champions League in his life. He has never. Don't get me wrong, Enzo Wesker is the same thing. But the reason why Enzo Wesker is a better manager than Thomas Frank is because Enzo Wesker, you know, beat PSG 3-0, the champions of Europe. He may not have an experience, but he has a game plan and his tactical, analysis really work. When it comes to Thomas Frank, it's just low block, hit them on a counter attack and just, so sometimes it works, but sometimes it may not. And also Tottenham, have a game against PSG in the UEFA Super Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see what it does against the champions of Europe. So, yeah, I think for me that Tottenham is going to improve, but I don't see them finishing Europe this season. So, So yeah, but let's see what Thomas Frank can do. And also, um, he's never experienced in the Champions League. He's a really good manager, and I think for me, Tottenham, is going to improve because last season they finished in in sixth, was it 16th or something like, sorry, 17th, and their squad is nowhere near that whatsoever. It's nowhere near in 17th place. So that's why I think for me that Thomas Frank is going to improve. I don't think they'll finish in the top eight, but I feel like they are going to improve. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe they might finish in the Europa League places, but I feel like they might finish eighth this season. So there you go. And don't get me wrong, Mohamed Kudus is a really good signing. And also, in fact, I might change my mind. I feel like I think for me that Tottenham might finish in sixth. Oh, it's so difficult this one. That's yeah, because on M we don't have a good record when it comes to Europe. He don't. This one is so difficult. I'm gonna stick my United in sixth place. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that. Do I see Tottenham finishing above Forest? I don't know, but maybe I might stick for Tottenham in eighth. Maybe it's so difficult, man. It really is. But yeah, in eighth place, I'm gonna go for Tottenham. In ninth place, I'm gonna unfortunately I have to go for Newcastle. And I know you guys are thinking Newcastle in ninth? Really? And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. Because number one, Newcastle are in the Champions League. And 2 years ago, we saw them in the Champions League and they finished bottom. And in that season, they finished seventh. But because of Man United winning the FA Cup, they weren't in Europe. And the second reason is that Alexander Isak is yeah, the second reason is that Alexander Isak is not gonna be a Newcastle player from now on. He is not playing. And to lose Isak is really, really bad. Really, really bad. Number three, they already signed Anthony Langer and Wamsdale. Anthony Langer is a good signing. Wamsdale, I say, is okay. I don't think Newcastle are going to get relegated because every time Wamsdale um is in goal, he's relegated. But he didn't do that for Arsenal, and I don't think he's going to be doing that for Newcastle. So that's why I think for me that Newcastle are going to be fine this season. But like I said, Isak going, you know, and also number four, their preseason hasn't been that great. No wins at all in preseason. Don't get me wrong, it means nothing, but the fact that they haven't won every preseason game is starting to look a bit concerned. Fifth, and the most obvious one, is that Newcastle have failed their transfer targets. And I'm going to tell you what it is. So, in goal, James Trafford. The right back, not interested. Mark Gray said no to Newcastle. Dean Hunionson said no to Newcastle. Left back, none. Embremu rejected Newcastle to go to Man United. João Pedro rejected Newcastle to go to Chelsea. Mohamed Kudus rejected Newcastle to go to Tottenham. Benjamin Sesko rejected Newcastle to go to Man United. Ekatike rejected Newcastle to go to Liverpool. And finally, Liam Delap have rejected Newcastle to go to Chelsea. And James Trafford, of course, rejected Newcastle to go to Manchester City. So there's about 9 players who Newcastle tried to sign but failed. So that's why for me that if Newcastle would have bought these signings, that team would have been very, very good and difficult to beat. And maybe Newcastle might be, finishing the top four again. But the fact that these are really good players and these players decide to reject Newcastle, boy, it's not looking good for them. And also the Champions League as well, they don't tend to do well. Of course, this is the league phase, so anything can happen. But you know, I just think for me that the Champions League and um and these rejected players is going to affect them, And let's see if Eddie Howe can fix that. Let's see if he can fix that. But I think for me that Newcastle are going to finish in ninth. They are going to finish in ninth. So there you go on that one. So sorry, Newcastle fans, but it's the truth. It is the truth. So yeah, Newcastle in ninth place. In 10th place, I'm gonna go. Hmm. In 10th place, I might go for. Maybe I might go for Brighton. Yeah, maybe Brighton because they sold João Pedro to us. It looks like Carlos Baleba might be going to Man United anytime soon, but that's not a problem for Newcastle because whenever they get rid of these players, they get lots of money and they can spend on getting a new one. And Brighton this season, last season have been good. They were really close to be in Europe this season, but the last couple of games they have dropped off a bit. And that defeat against Forest at the City Ground was absolutely horrible. So Brighton is not gonna have that thing ever again. So there you go. Yeah, eighth, ninth, tenth. So yeah, Brighton for me in 10th place. In 11th place, I'm gonna go for Bournemouth. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna. Oops, sorry, guys. I'm gonna go for AFC Bournemouth because the fact that they let go of Kirkes to go to Liverpool, one of their best left back in the Premier League last season, yeah, it's not really that good. So and also Bournemouth were really close to be in the Champions League, but like Brighton, their form has really dipped. There are games where Bournemouth have a really good record at home, but from January onwards, not been that great. So we'll see what happens with Bournemouth. I think I feel like they them. I feel like Bournemouth might start good, but then just drop off massively like it did last season. So yeah, in 11th place, I'm gonna go for Bournemouth. In 12th place, I'm gonna go for Everton. I'm gonna go Everton to finish in 12th because I think they finished 14th. In fact, yeah, I'm gonna change my mind a bit. I'm gonna change my mind because the fact that they signed Jack Grealish on loan and they're bringing some really good players. You know what? Yeah, I feel like Everton might finish in 10th because it's the new stadium. I forgot their manager again. I forgot their manager again. Always keep on forgetting. Um, Sorry guys. Whenever it comes to managers, I always keep forgetting their names. So do forgive me. It's not. Oh, sorry. Um. Yeah, David Moyes. Yeah. David Moyes. Had an unbeaten start, but then from April onwards, their form has been dipped. So there you go. But if I'm looking at the table from last season, where Everton finish, do excuse me, they finish in 13th place. So and these signings, the likes of Jack Grealish, I forgot who was this sign, I forgot, but these are really good players, and also they're playing the new stadium, which is going to increase more capacity to like 52,888. So David Moyes is a good manager, and I think he might do well for Everton. So they finished in 13th, and I feel like they might move a bit closer. So in fact, my I'm gonna change Everton into 11th and then Bournemouth into 12th. That's the only thing I'm going to change. So yeah, Tottenham in eighth, Newcastle in ninth, um, Brighton in 10th, Everton in 11th, and Bournemouth in 12th place. So there we go. So those are the teams that will finish in the mid table. So I've got four more left. So in 13th place, I'm going to go for. This one is so difficult because this one is really difficult. In 13th place, I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. And first things first, Crystal Palace, congratulations on winning the FA Cup and the Community Shield. Now, I do feel bad for them that they didn't gonna be in the Europa League this season because of what they did. So, but the reason why I've gone for Crystal Palace to finish in 13th is because don't get me wrong, the Community Shield is good, but that thing is cause now since Crystal Palace win the Conference League, they could be one of the favourites because Oliver Glasner came to Crystal Palace and won two trophies. He could potentially win three, So I feel like if Crystal Palace, were to finish 13th but end up winning the Conference League, that'd be really good because if you win the Conference League, that means you win the Europa League. So if you're a Crystal Palace fan, you should be confident that your team could have a chance of winning it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, in 13th place, I'm gonna go for Crystal Palace. In 14th place, I'm gonna go for Fulham because I don't know if they signed anybody at the moment. Emerson Rowe, Willian, all of these ones. I'm really not quite sure what they signed in the summer. So, but yeah, I mean Fulham. Where did they even finish last season? They finished 11th, but for me, I feel like um, this season, Newcastle, Sunderland, Brighton as well, Everton, Bournemouth as well, and Crystal Palace, they've won a show, who've won the FA Cup and the Community Shield. I just feel like Fulham, in fact, or maybe actually, my mind is telling me something. I feel like I'm gonna change. It's like this. Yeah. So I'm gonna go for Fulham to actually finish in 12th, Bournemouth in 13th, and Crystal Palace in 14th. That's gonna be it. So yeah, those. So yeah, hopefully this will be the last time I've changed this. So yeah, in 13th place is Bournemouth, and then 14th is Crystal Palace. In 15th place, I'm gonna go for Wolves because don't get me wrong, letting go of Cunha is bad. It really is bad. Now, I don't think for me that Diogo Jota, death is going to affect them. But Mateus Cunha, letting go of him to go to Man United is a big, big issue because Mateus Cunha was their best player last season. He really was. So letting go of him is really a concern. I don't think they're going to be I want a relegation zone because Brentford they lost their manager. They lost Ivan Tony. They've lost Embremo as well. So I think for me, Wolves are gonna, not be close to the relegation zone. So I think Wolves will do well, but I just feel letting go of Mateus Cunha is really bad. And also they were in the relegation zone up until that unbeaten point where they won 6 games in a row. So I think Wolves are going to do much better than they did last season. So yeah, in 15th place, I'm going to go for Wolves. Last and not least, in 16th, I'm going to go for West Ham because, like I said, you know, um, West Ham. Don't get me wrong, Graham Potter is a good manager, but last season, I'm not quite. Yeah, I feel like he only got like 2 or 3 wins. So yeah, and don't get me wrong, Graham Potter has a good record against Arsenal. So I feel like for me, West Ham are a really good team, but I just feel like letting go of Mikhail Cunha's, as well, it's gonna be it's good for them, but I feel like if he does well for Tottenham, then the question will ask, why did they let go of him? Instead of allow him to stay. So I think Graham Potter's a really good manager, but West Ham and Brighton are two completely different teams. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Premier League, Graham Potter only does well for Brighton. But when it comes to Chelsea and West Ham, who have won European trophies, I just feel like the pressure is gonna be it's just going to be on Graham Potter if he can make West Ham to not finish close to relegation, because they finished 60th last season, and I feel like they might do it again this season. So, yeah, unfortunately, West Ham fans, you have a really good squad, but Graham Potter is a good manager, but I just don't think he can do it for West Ham. So yeah, West Ham for me will be in 16th place. And there we go, guys. That is my 2025 to 2026 Premier League table predictions for this season. So I'm gonna do it in no particular order, starting from first all the way to 20th. So the champions will be Liverpool once again. In second place, I've gone for Man City. In third place, I've gone for Arsenal. And then in fourth place, I've gone for Chelsea. In fifth place, I've gone for Aston Villa. In sixth place, I've gone for Manchester United. In seventh place, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. In eighth place, I've gone for Tottenham. In ninth, I've gone for Newcastle. In 10th, I've gone for Brighton. 11th is Everton. 12th is Fulham. In 13th is Bournemouth. 14th is Crystal Palace. 15th is Wolves. 16th is West Ham United. 17th is Brentford. Then, last and not least, 18th is Leeds. Burnley is 19th. And Sunderland is 20th. So, that is my final 2025 so 2026 Premier League table prediction. So, do let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or disagree on any of my predictions for this season. Oh, so there you go, guys. That is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you do let me know in the comments down below. And like I said before, if you guys are excited and happy that the Premier League returns this week, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification so that you never ever miss any of my content. And yeah, so yeah, it's been a very long video, but hope you guys enjoy it. And if you have your predictions, table predictions for this season, do let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think is going to win the Premier League? Who do you think is going to finish in the top six? And particularly, who do you think is going to be relegated this season? Do let me know. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, share, comment, subscribe. It's your boy Light Talks Football. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And as always, peace and up the Chelsea.